Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today I'm in the house with
Carmen. Hi.
And we are kind of talking about some things like paranormal related. So Carmen has a question for me.
But for you, like when you connect, are you kind of opening portals up when you have to connect to loved ones or get messages through?
I am, but I also am trained how to deal with it.
Oh, so it is a portal that you go.
You kind of
see. I didn't know that.
So it's kind of like you open up your own portal to the other side, or the other side opens it up to you. But because I'm trained in it, I know how to deal with it. It doesn't affect me that way. I normally, and I've got like goose pimples.
I see that. I saw that.
We have my angels and guides are very protective of my energy. They have taught me how to work with energy on the other side. So it's one of those. I even have a client, and her dad murdered a lot of people and went to jail and prison and all that kind of stuff. And his energy can come through and not affect me. So it's like my angels and guides are that freaking strong. Like I've done this enough that I've dealt with that. And so it's one of those, like, I'm able to deal with that now easier than I was before because I've gotten such a connection, such an energy portal to the other side that they know that I need to be protected. And I will get messages from my angels and guides like, that person's energy is not safe. Move away from this person's energy, especially when I'm being just a mom or a grandma, when I'm being in my normal everyday life, like, this is what you need to do.
Oh my God. So when you open that portal, do they just speak through it, or do they literally come into your home? It's like they're right here speaking to you.
It depends on them. Sometimes they will come in and show me like a full body apparition of what they look like. I always hear their voices constantly. And usually when, kind of like with my abilities and the way they come in, is I will burst clairsensitive. I will feel their energy shift in the house.
Oh, yes.
Even if they were a good person, I can feel that energy shift. Next, I will hear them. I'm here. And then I will go and talk to them about, like, who are you here for, kind of that sort of thing. And then the last one is usually I will see parts of them. Like, usually it's kind of like the portrait. I always say, like, from the shoulders up, that portrait mode, kind of like, here I am. So that's the way I see them. I don't always see full body apparitions. I just don't always see them that way. So that's kind of like my way of dealing with it. But as soon as I'm finished for the day or finished for the week with my clients, my office space is completely cleansed.
Yes, I know I have walked into your home a couple of times, and down your hallway over here by the office, I always see somebody like walk through. I'm like, okay, you have a new one in. Who you have coming to visit you?
I usually have a few, and like I said, I've done some videos on them. It's one of those. I had one a week or so ago that was peeping around the corner in the kitchen. I'm used to them. My family's kind of used to them, and they really don't. They kind of hang around, but they're not demonic energy or bad energy or something like that. But a lot of times they'll show up, and I will bring them home from different places, the grocery store and other places. And if, like, when I'm ready for them to go, I'll just be like, okay, it's time. Like a little kid, like, okay, you go back home now. little so-and-so, you run back. I'm done with this for a while. But sometimes they will follow me home from ghost tours for a period of time if they're not finished talking to me. They'll be like, I want to come home with you, usually for a few days or a week or so, and then they'll go back.
Oh, wow. So they can just, like, go through their little portal to get back where they need to get back at.
Right.
And do you ever have clients that come through, but their family member comes first to be with you for a while before they come in?
Their family members always show up. So I know when there's a new ghost in the house that I'm getting a new client. So, like, I'll be like, interesting. And that's kind of the interesting part for me is, like, so if it's a client that I've already done before, I'll be like, like the ghost energy, I'm kind of like, I remember your energy. I don't remember your name all the way, but I remember your energy. And then usually within 24 to 48 hours, that person has emailed me, texted or called me to make an appointment.
Oh, awesome.
So it's kind of like, boom. And then I'll be like, oh, yeah. And sometimes their family will come through. I have one of them that their family will come through, and then literally within an hour, her daughter will call me and say, hey, do you have time for an appointment? And I'm like, yeah, we got some time for you.
They already know what you're going to do before you do it on the other side. Like, somehow, how do they know that already?
Well, because you've already thought about it. You've already been like, okay, I need to make an appointment with Ruth. I need to go and have this reading, or I have these questions. And a lot of times, like, people are thinking about it, and they just haven't picked up the phone and called.
Okay.
So then it's like, okay. So I kind of deal with that in that I already know their energy. And literally one of them was laughing and she goes, I already sent mom to you. And I was like, mom's here. Like,
she's over here talking to me already.
I got this. And so she was just kind of like, yeah. I was like, yeah, it's one of those. And it's
very
not,
interesting.
It's not bad. I'm kind of used to it at this point. But my family, my pets are all accustomed to having ghosts in the house at any point in time.
Have you ever had like an emergency call where you had to like drop in and go immediately to helping them? And like, what emergency call have you had before?
I think kind of the most interesting ones is people will call me if they have a new death in the family or if their family member is about to pass. So I had a client a couple of months ago that her mom was going to pass. And so I'd already been and read for her mom several times because her mom couldn't speak. She had tubes down her throat and stuff like that. So her mom figuratively could not say anything. So I went in there and channeled for her mom, gave them some messages. And I'd done this a couple of times. Well, mom was about to pass and they were like, can you come up to the hospital and be with us? And I was like, sure. So a lot of times they will be up there. And then this is a family that are true believers, that sort of thing. And they're like, who else is in the room? And I was like, well, grandpa's standing over here and he looks like this. And they're like, oh my gosh, that looks like that sounds like my grandfather or whatever else. So it was like several of them around that were like family members that came in and I was able to connect to them and get messages back and forth during that time frame. And it was really interesting that grandma that was passing, like as I was communicating with them, she would like gesture in the area that I'm talking about. Like she's out almost like in a coma in the middle of the room and she's like where I'm pointing, she's pointing also. Going like kind of thing, and she would kind of mouth things, so that was kind of like really cool, like she was trying to talk to him as well.
Oh, that's so sweet that you go there to help them with that. So it's very emotional.
It's very emotional. And like I said, it's better if the families are like true believers instead of like at this time frame. I don't care if someone's a believer or not, but it's easier when they're a true believer at that time frame when I'm dealing with a death, because there's so much energy back and forth.
So what if someone is passing away, as you said, but they have an attachment? What happens to that attachment when somebody passes?
They go on to somebody else. So usually when I'm called in, I won't allow it to attach to anybody else, and I will remove the demonic energy or whatever attachment that they had at the time. So I'm like, let's get this out of the way. So I know how to deal with it. And a lot of times, like people are like, well, I think mom or so-and-so had an attachment. I'm like, done, dealt with, like already. And they're like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that hard. And they're like, what? And I was like, it's like, I'm really practicing this. So I'm used to dealing with demonic energy, bad juju, whatever you want to call it. Like, I'm kind of used to dealing with those kind of things. It's like, I've been there, done that. It's not that hard if you're practicing it. And a lot of times I do it without the person even knowing I've done it.